Hi, this is Andy, Golf Zero, Romeo, Victor, Mike. This is the third part on Expert Controller Plus, the section on operation. So I hope to give you a quick overview just on the operation of the application and some of its features. So what I'll do is switch over to a desktop. And I have running, not on this computer, but a different computer, a connection to Smart SDR on my Flex 6600. So things will appear a little bit sluggish because it's using this remote desktop protocol. But anyway, so if we start up Expert Controller Plus, you can see it generates this welcome window, which we'll just shut down because we know all about that now. And the overview window is currently showing two connections. If I quickly show you what those connections are, connections, you'll see we've actually got three defined. We've got this first one here is enabled, and it's a physical expert 1.3K FA. Connected using a network connection, and I'm using Modbus to wake that amplifier. There is the same amplifier but on a serial connection, but because I'm using the network connection, that's not enabled at this point in time, hence it doesn't show up in this list. There is an Expert 1K FA, which is because I don't have one of those amplifiers, it's the simulator that's running on a Linux box, which is behaving as an Expert 1K FA should do. So I'll be connecting to that in this demonstration. Okay, so if we go to activation and connections, we'll see that both connections are currently closed. If we start this one up, this is the physical, the real 1K, sorry, the real 1.3K. And if we start up the simulator as well, we can close the connection manager window for now because we don't need to see that. So that's our two connections up and running, or talking to this amplifier. If I just move these windows around slightly, if I pop that one up there, pop that one down there, that one up there, and that one there as well. Okay, right. So let's see what we can do here. So these buttons are along the bottom, work really just as you would expect, and the same as they do on the actual Expert amplifier itself, the physical box. So you can hit things like set, and it'll go into the set menus. This is currently, there isn't an ATU inside this amplifier, so everything's on B, on bypass. But you can then move through these just as you would expect to. I come down here once more, hit save there, hit set, stores the data and goes back to there. So these are all the buttons you'll be familiar with. Buttons that are grayed out are not sort of valid at this point in the operation of the amplifier. As you saw when I went into set mode, these ones became enabled, and if you had the manual tune operation active, then you could use these ones as well. These two little buttons down here, this turns the LCD backlight on, and this turns the LCD backlight off. It's a little bulb with a line through it in this case. Now that feature isn't available on the Expert 1K FA, hence they're not visible over here. The LCD panel here is the same as you would expect to see on the front of the amplifier, and these LEDs across here are representative of those on the front of the amplifier as well. Apart from it doesn't obviously have the network, or this will say serial if you have a serial connection as well. This connection here is the connection that this window is using. So I could actually pop it on that one, and then you'll see, and I could actually swap this one over to that one if that's what I wanted. So a window can actually be on any connection. To show you some of these other windows that so LCD and buttons window is the window that you can see currently. You could also just have the LCD panel. So if you just wanted to monitor, for example, that one, the Expert 1 KFA, but didn't want to interact with it because you were busy perhaps on another band doing something else, you could just leave it monitored like that. You could open the LED panel separately, and let's have that one on there. So that set of LEDs across here now will always just reflect the same as that there. So if you like, the button and the LCD and buttons window is probably the most compact in that it has everything in it, but these windows here give you the flexibility to rearrange things on your desktop how you so choose. There's the sort of final view here is just the buttons, I think. We have just the buttons and put those on. No, that's on that one. Let's put them all on the same thing. Let's put them all on the simulator so it makes sense. So they're all on the simulator now. So for example, if I was to hit the of course these buttons here are what I consider to be the most frequently used buttons, so it's not all the buttons. So you'll see we haven't got the set button, we haven't got the cat button, those sort of things, but things like just the input. So I could press input there and you'll see that's changed to input 2 just as that's done, or I could select input there. So these windows are just views onto that connection. Okay, so that's having multiple views. In terms of actual operation, well, it's really as you would expect using the Windows SPE software, or just using the front panel of the amplifier directly. So if we just come down to Smart SDR for a minute, and if I enable, I'll enable FT8 mode on here, which is that window there. 30 meters. If we turn that on, then that should start to pick up and decode some of these signals we can hear. Transmit is here and receiving there, so that looks fairly quiet. So we could actually just see who's about. Let's respond to one of these people. In fact, so we'll leave the amplifier in standby, and if we go back to this chap here, you'll see what's happened now is that Smart SDR, we're in standby mode, but we're not really transmitting very much power at this point. The radio is actually connected to an RF attenuator before it feeds my amplifier. Hence, this is on 8, which is a reasonable level of power, but it's being attenuated. So, 0.4 watts, half a watt for argument's sake, and we seem to have established a connection with Belgium. So I'll let that just run its course. And of course, whilst it's doing that, we could interact here with the simulator, the Expert 1KFA, which is a simulated connection. We could put that into operate mode. So if I operate there, so that's now, and then of course that will look just the same as you'd expect it to. We could transmit on that one as well. So that's now transmitting, and of course you can see it's updating the display as you would expect. You've got the reverse power on the second screen. If we come out of transmit on that one, we can then drop that back out of operate mode. Okay, so it's finished that QSO on there. So if I actually put this into operate mode now on this one, and if we transmit as well, we will find somebody else. Just waiting on this to finish up here. There we go. Let's see if we can establish a connection to this guy. Okay, so you'll see straight away that there's 197 watts of forward power. Bar graphs are updating, LEDs are updating. We could, if we just so wanted to, we could have a new LCD panel, and if we connect that up to that one, you'll see that that just reflects the same as that. Right, so it doesn't look as if we've got a connection to SP6 uniform. But anyway, so I think that was probably sufficient for the purposes of demonstrating the actual software. So we'll close that down. Don't need that open. And we can drop that out of operate mode. If I come down to settings, groups, and I'll add a group, let's call it demo for now, and I will I'll add that amplifier to it, or that connection, and I will add that connection to it. So this group now has these two amplifiers in it. Rather than going connections and then starting these, well, they're both started at the moment. So if I just stop them for a minute, I stop that one and stop that one. What I can do now, we don't want that one going. So if I go to activation groups, we can see our demo group. I can hit start on that, and you'll see it's opened both of these and established connections to the amplifiers. So if you had multiple amplifiers, you might find it easier to actually set up a group and to start and stop the amplifiers using that group. Okay, I think that'll do for now. So hope you found that useful, and do drop me a message if you have any questions, or you would like to provide some feedback on the application.